Yo, what's up, guys? Terrell here. Here to bring you another first impressions. And unfortunately, I didn't have the freaking volumes in my hand. Actually, shit, I'm missing the other volume of the manga I was going to talk about. Son of a bitch. Fuck me. I probably should start this over, but I'm not gonna. Apparently, the volume one is somewhere. I believe it's probably still down there in my fucking drawer. But for right now, this is impressions on D.Gray-Man, and as you can see, I also bought the second volume of this. This was the second favorite out of the four, and I thought this one was actually fairly good. I mean, D.Gray-Man had some hype. It isn't like Tawari Bito where it was like no one knows of the series. People know of that series. And I know it has an anime for it, and I think the manga right now, from what I read on, is like 21 volumes. And the premise of this one's actually fairly simple too. Essentially, you have a character named Alan Walker, I believe. He's a kid who wants to be an exorcist and actually becomes an exorcist. Well, I guess I should just say he's an exorcist because he becomes an exorcist by like the first few chapters. Anyways, he's essentially a kid who wants to help stop this dude named Millennium Earl. And this guy is a really bad guy. He essentially wants to stop the rebirth of the world. He wants to destroy the world and just say fuck the rebirth. And he does so by sending the Akuma out onto the world. Now this is an Exorcist story, but it's nothing like Blue Exorcist. This is actually a little bit more of... Well, Blue Exorcist is technically official, so I guess I should say it's a little bit more official than Blue Exorcist is. Essentially, what Millennium Earl, I actually was shocked that they introduced Millennium Earl like in the second fucking chapter. He's like in within like the first few chapters. Like, damn, you didn't leave nothing to be desired with him, did you? You just threw his ass in here. Like, seriously, the main villain is in the damn first volume. I was shocked by that. I don't know why. It's just weird to me when I see the first villain that damn early. But essentially, Alan Walker is a weird kid. Essentially, his backstory is... Well, to go in his backstory, I might as well explain what Akuma are. Akuma are essentially demons that were originally souls that were brought back and ended up killing the one who brought them back. And to explain Alan Walker's story is, Alan Walker, when he was younger, he had someone he deeply cared about. That person died. Alan, being a young child, did something stupid and brought that person back. It seems like almost every person they bring back as an Akuma gets really pissed off. And that's what essentially happens. But the difference between what happens to him and what happened to other people is that he got cursed and got slashed across the fucking eye. So he has like a really fucked up scar across his eye. And his eye is cursed. So he can constantly see Akuma. He can differentiate Akuma. And due to this, he got cursed, but for whatever reason, his hand, when he was younger, his hand was really fucked up. Like he had a fucked up hand coming out of the womb. And his parents kind of gave him up. And so this person took him in, and that's the person who died, and he brought back and cursed him. We found out his hand has something in it called innocence. And innocence is essentially, the best way to explain it is that innocence is like godly materials that, you know, was originally one big entity but got broken into many pieces and found its way and manifests itself into different forms. And Alan's form just happened to be in his hand, so his hand can change shape and shit and wreck the crap out of anything, and that's what saved him when he was younger. His hand saved him when he was younger and destroyed the Akuma that was technically the revived soul of the person he lost. Because the thing that would normally happen is essentially Akuma would, when you bring back someone, and I don't know, I like this kind of play on it. Because like Soul Eater kind of made it more basic, but I like the way this handles it, where like when the person's brought back, they're all pissed off and they literally kill the person who brought them back. Like that's the normal way of going things. Like a person suffers the deepest regret and pain and remorse and sorrow and isn't like darkness. This is the best time to make an Akuma because It's only in this state would they be driven to the point of bringing back a loved one. Like usually after losing a loved one is the best moment. The Millennium Earl strikes, and he makes a deal with them. Says, "I can bring back your loved one." He brings back the loved one, but what usually happens right after that is that the fucking Akuma is like, "Damn it, why'd you do that?" And then it's under the Millennium Earl's control, and then has that person kill the person who brought them back and wear their skin so they can go around eating more people and more souls and shit. So they become these ridiculous, huge Akuma, and eventually like level up and become these even more ridiculous Akuma that he can use to destroy the world essentially. And the premise for that is that Alan Walker, when he got older, he decided he actually got founded by another person who was actually an exorcist, and taught him many things, and he decided to become an exorcist. And he was and the manga starts out with him, on his way to the exorcist, but having like 2 mock situations just to get us used to what we were dealing with in terms of plot, like introductory chapters, which I thought were handled fairly well. I mean, I like how the manga does bullshit and throws a lot of shit at you, and it was actually very intriguing. I mean, in terms of what I like about it, I actually like this take on exercising shit. I mean, I mean, it's the same. You still have to kill the Akuma. I mean, these Akuma are technically people, but you always see them angry, and it's like, well, these things aren't people anymore. But Alan sees it a different way. Alan believes that these things are still people. But what the problem with them now is that when you see these things crying and anguish, it's not because they're sorry for the things they're done. They're sorry because of how weak. I forget the way he explains it, but he explains it that they feel bad for the loved ones who brought them back because they were so weak and they couldn't just handle the death. And that seemed like something that I like the direction they took this exorcism shit in D.Gray-Man. I like the morality. I like more of the morality road they took with it. And that to me that's better than what Soul Eater does, or even what Blue Exorcist does. Because Blue Exorcist doesn't really turn it into a morality thing so far. It's just been, just beat some fucking demons and shit. It's very simple. It's a little too straightforward. But then again, Blue Exorcist is more Shonen Jump-esque than the D.Gray-Man, even though they're both Shonen Jump series. Like, Blue Exorcist is more Shonen Jump traditional, whereas D.Gray-Man's more morality Shonen Jump-ish, and it still works. I mean, for the most part, it's pretty interesting, and I've enjoyed it so far. The reason why I rank this below Itsuwari though, is because not really even due to the story. I think the story is intriguing enough, even though this is like the third. Yeah, this is like the third Exorcist manga I've dealt with. This is probably the one that has the best morality click to me so far. It feels like a Full Metal Alchemist of exorcism. That's what it does. It feels like a Full Metal Alchemist of exorcism, but a little bit more played straightforward. The problem with this so far isn't even within the plot. It's actually the characters. Alan Walker, you're only introduced to like 2 mains so far. Well, 2 characters. Well, I mean, unless you want to count the Exorcist. Oh man, I forgot the name of the exorcism thing. Sorry, I've read like 4 or 5 different mangas, so you'll have to excuse me for forgetting things. I'm trying to see if it actually says it here, and no, it doesn't. No, it does not explain what. I could have swore the thing had a name, and I can't think of it now. The characters you're introduced to so far is Alan Walker. You're introduced to a secondary character who's also an exorcist, Yuki Kondo. That's when he gets in there. Kind of higher ups, Kamoi Lee and then Linnea Lee, which I think are sisters. I mean, brothers and sisters. I'm trying to see if they explain. I don't remember what the fuck this place was called, and they don't tell me. No, they don't tell me. Yeah, they don't tell me. Fuck. But it's essentially like an exorcist group, and when Alan joins with his referral from, I guess, a great exorcist, because he used to work there too. That's why he's going there, because his master sent him there. Apparently, from what is explained, essentially there are different types of innocence and different types of anti-Akuma weapons, which is what his arm is. and his arm is a parasite type, which means it adapts to emotions and shit. It adapts to the situation essentially. And anyways, I mean, it's pretty interesting. I just my biggest gripe with this is the characters. Like Kamba is kind of your typical rival-ish character, and so is Alan. I mean, so far from the second volume, I mean, by the end of the second volume, the vibe with Alan is he wants to be a destroyer that saves people, which means he's taking the harder road of doing the same damn thing to someone else, and that's too damn cliche because I've seen that portion of his character before, and him as a character, I mean, he has his moments in terms of being funny or attitude wise, but he's kind of basic. But he's to me, I kind of count him as a mix of, I want to say he's a mix of Edward Elric and Kenichi. Because Kenichi has that whole, I'm doing the shit the harder way, but I'm still gonna do it my way. But he still has the Edward Elric kind of appeal to him. For one, his arm, and two, he's not a character that necessarily takes shit from people. Like, his personality isn't like a cowardly boy the way he looks. I mean, damn, he looks. Damn it. Of course, I don't have the first. Let me. I should go get the first volume real quick, but I'm too lazy. Actually, I probably should totally go get the first volume. I'm really lazy. Fuck it. Let me go get the first volume. I can show you a good picture. Okay. The first volume, for anyone who wants to know, this is Alan Walker, and this is Millennium Earl. I'm not fucking joking. This is the main villain. And it's actually very interesting. I'm trying to see if I can find the name of this organization, which I can't, which is bullshit. I should totally be able to find the name of this organization real quick so I know what it's called. The Black Order, that's what it's called, okay. Anyways, so, the name of this thing is the Black Order. I think my main issue with D.Gray-Man at the moment is just that Alan himself and Kamba, which are the only two characters we've gotten somewhat development for, are really generic, and I'm kind of hoping in the third volume they kind of flesh out those characters a little bit, because I mean, the story is good and everything, but I need the fleshing out of characters, make them deeper. I mean, a little bit deeper. I get where he's coming from, but I still, he's doing badass things, and he's doing them really cool, but he's not clicking with me yet. Like, I'm not like, holy shit, go in, Alan. I'm not like rooting for his ass yet, and there's something wrong there. I need to get to that point. If I can get to that point, I would say this is fucking cool, awesome as shit. For right now, the characters themselves are just too damn generic. Like, I think it's after you've read a lot of manga or watched a lot of anime or seen a lot of media, honestly, you start seeing the same characteristics in the same damn characters, and they don't do anything to get themselves out of that same generic ass hole. So you're just like, yeah, you're doing the same thing someone else is doing, but you're not doing something new. You're not making me go the extra mile to like you. Itsuwari Bito has an interesting premise in itself, and the character was interesting. Utsuo as a character is interesting. Alan is good. Like, he's not pissing me off, but he's not trying to get out of his box. He's still in the box of normality and genericness shit. The plot is good, but it's not going to keep the series. Like, for 21 volumes, I'm hoping he kicks it up. I mean, he's not like he doesn't have development. I'm not saying that. He has development. I mean, he explains his backstory, even explains how his mindset's going to roll in the second volume. But I need more clicking with you. Like, he needs to get out of normality for me. I mean, for people who like this show, does he get out of the generic bullshit phase? Like, where he's predictable right now? Because right now he's predictable. In the terms of, I don't want to kill these people. Or, I want to uphold my way of doing things. He's like, I've seen that shit in Naruto. I've seen that shit in Kenichi. I've seen that shit in a lot of other characters. He's going to do a little bit more to get out of that normality. If he can't push it, I can see myself not falling out of the story kind of quick if he doesn't click out of it. I mean, in terms of fights and scenes, I mean, the art stuff's pretty cool. I mean, If I can, I'm gonna show you a real badass scene from Volume 2. I think there's a lot of badass parts of this fight. There's like a badass fight near the end of it. If I can find it. I don't want to show that scene. I want like a full page. Yeah, here's one. This is actually pretty badass to me. Like, I mean, it's not like it sucks. I'm just saying. But that is my first impressions of Gray-Man. It's pretty good. Just need to get the characters out of their boxes a little bit for me to give a damn. If we can do that, we're good. But yeah, I mean, you can tell me what you guys thoughts in the comment section below. I think the Gray-Man's on the Viz site, I believe. It better be. Is it? I don't remember. It should be. Yeah, it is. So I'll link the first chapter of the Gray-Man in the description if you want to check that series out. And I mean, just to read the first chapter anyway. And you can just tell me what you guys think about it. But that's about it. So this has been the vlogs of Gang with your boy Terrell, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.